Welcome to Steel City Showdown. I'm AJ and this is Steve. And what we watched is yet again another loss. And you know what's funny, Steve, is I literally had texted you. I was like, we got to have 3 points. Like, I don't want to draw. Just give us 3 points. And then after they scored, I was like, okay, maybe 1 point doesn't sound so bad.
You know, I saw a lot of unearned optimism after our midweek match against Chicago. Saw that online, and those of you that are on, if you ever go on Discord, go to the St. Louis City Discord, there is a weekly prediction contest. And so many people this week were, hey, we're going to do it. We're going to win 3-1. We're going to win 1-0. And I'm like, I'm looking at the thing and it's like, Austin's given up 19 goals. But they've also scored like 16 goals, and we've given up like 16 and we've only scored 9 or something like that. And I thought for sure we would score 2 goals. I really did. I thought we would for sure score 2 goals, but I thought we might lose 3-2. I did not anticipate just the incredibly ineptitude of our team. Kind of like what happened against Chicago, where we could have lost. We could have been down 3-0 at the break. They had a couple of shots that seemed like they should have went in. Like, it was incredible before the break. And it's like, you kind of said it whenever the halftime happened, that this is probably where we're going to lose. Like, we probably should have taken advantage, which is, think about it. The last 3 games, we played heavily rotated teams and we have no points to show for it.
I feel like you're calling.
We beat Chicago, but that is a not league play, so that doesn't matter.
I feel like you're calling me out a little bit because before the game, after the lineup was sent, I'm like, okay, we're going to be 3-1 win. And you're like, oh, there's no way of this. And
you weren't the only one. You weren't the only one. I'm just like, why are we optimistic about this team? I keep thinking back to earlier in this year when I said, I don't want to get to the point where I'm hate watching this team and looking forward to having negative outcomes for my predictions. And sure enough, I'm at that point.
Oh, all right, Steve, let's actually talk about this game. Our first game of the evening. Are you ready? 3 words.
Let's go. 3
okay,
words.
3 words. Okay. So I'm going to go first just because change it up. So my first word is going to be
exciting.
You ready? You ready?
It's going to be scores.
Change.
Huh? Okay.
Here's why, right? The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results, right? So the thing is like, this is obvious, right? Everybody online probably agrees with me. We have to change something. I'm sorry, kind of changing between Teutsch, Cordova, even now Leuven on the right attacking mid/wing is not the change I'm talking about. The kind of change I want to see is, I know like the Falls are defensive liability, but they're also much better offensive players, in my opinion, than McNaughton, Orozco, and Polvera. So I'm okay conceding some goals because, we always say, like, what do you have to do to win a game? You have to score. You can literally play the most beautiful defense possible, but you have to score. And honestly, I will say DeMay's teams have great defense. Like, we do pretty well for the most part. The problem is we start to leak goals when we start pushing forward because we're falling behind. All the teams do that, right? So my thing is just do something different. Anything. Right.
Yeah.
At this point.
When you said change, I wrote down loose change because, like, this is kind of what this team is. This team is just a bunch of loose change, and we don't really seem to have anything. And I do agree, like, something has to give. However, I think soccer coaches, they don't do that. Like, they're creatures of habit. DeMay has stuck to his guns on how he's going to do substitutions and how he's going to do his lineup. We see the same lineup. They want that consistency. I will say there has to be some sort of like a mindset change. I texted you that I was shocked whenever the announcers were coming back from the halftime saying that DeMay told the team that to stop pressing as much, that they were probably tired from Wednesday. Stop pressing as much, pull back. And for me, I would like to hear maybe the post game presser when they release it. Someone hopefully asks them, because it's like, we are a bad team. How are we supposed to score? How are we supposed to win games if we're not pressing? If we're not bringing that high energy to these matches? If we're just sitting back and essentially parking the bus, how are we even going to try to be winning these games?
I will say, I was actually impressed when he made a halftime tactical change, because how many times did we see that our back line was getting blown out and there was one or two runners breaking that back line? I'm surprised they didn't score a couple against us in the first half. So I give them some credit for changing. Now, the downside is basically they held back and they weren't pressing, and I felt like our opportunities also decreased. So, I mean, I guess you solved one thing, but then created a problem with other.
Right.
So,
I guess if we're gonna say like, hey, at least you changed something, it's like, well, we took our shoes off. We got to try something else. Let's put our shirts on backwards. Like, all right. I guess I got to go with the easiest one. It's boring. Like right now, this is the worst thing a team can be, is boring. You don't want your fans to become apathetic. And I think I saw that online. People were saying, my anger has turned into apathy. And that's the worst thing. When you're in the business of entertainment, you don't want to be boring. And right now, this is what this team is. I think I texted you, someone on either Reddit or on Discord posted that at this point, because we're not scoring anything, the DeMay team has the same points per game or goals per game average, if you will, as that team with Olaf. And so like that was supposed to be the big difference, as we're a better structural team than Olaf was, and we're not seeing it. And so, boring is my first word. This is fucking boring.
I got something to tag to that. I don't know if this is true, but I'm sure it is. Hardig 26 on Reddit said 17 wins in the last 82 MLS matches. So that's not even including Open Cup, which doesn't count, but 17 wins out of 82. So, Steve, I'm going to pull up the old calculator here. That gives us a win percentage of 20.7%.
Oh, God. That is definitely teams that don't have any aspirations of playoff.
And I think that means one win every 5 weeks. That's not even once a month.
Right. Well, I mean, how many times we talk about we went win this in this month? We went win this in this month. That's the only way to do it. The team is consistent. The team is consistently bad. Think about the last 2 seasons. The announcers have nothing to talk about this team because the team is bad. All they can hang their hat on is going back to 2023, how we started out hot, won 5 in a row. And like, that was how we used to be described. It was like, oh, the city's just waiting to turn around. They started off the world record, the record for most wins by an expansion team, and then they won the division. And even tonight, the Apple announcer had to say they started out hot and they won the division, but then they were bounced early by Sporting KC, and then they haven't found it again. And yep, that's exactly where we are. We're just a bad team. Man.
Okay, well, here's my second word, and this is a fun one for everybody online, and it's joiner.
Like, it's time to join her down the street.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
So here's the tough part, right? With the current format, right? Where do you put joiner? I guess that's the hardest part. Where do you put him in the lineup? But there's no doubt that when joiner's in there, he's always seeming to make an impact. Now, part of that is it's the one thing is a lot of fans don't think about is it's a different game when you come in at the 60th or 80th minute, because the other team's tired, or 83rd minute. Yeah. The game is very different. So when you come in as fresh legs, that's one thing. The question is what would he look like if he was playing a full 90 week after week and stuff like that? However, I would be very interested in seeing, because the crosses are better. It seems like he's in position. There was that one play where I think Fall from the far left side hit a long crossover that was a little bit too far, but he at least went up and tried to
put a head on it.
Back. Yes. I was like, okay, yeah, he had no chance. There was zero chance of that happening, but I appreciate that effort. And
he still tried.
He still got the head on the ball, which means he was accurate.
And he at least tried, and if he got lucky, he probably could have been redirected back towards the goal. It's obviously wasn't going to happen, but you know what? I think if we actually used our 60th minute substitutions accurately and more efficiently, get him on the field before the 60th minute, have him be an impact, him and McSorley, just have their young legs and aggressiveness out there for almost a full half and have them have an impact. But no, we're bringing them in the 73rd and 80th minute and just not have time to do anything. We were down 2-0 by that time, and we should have had their fresh bodies out there. But no. All right. I know when we were starting this and we were 3 words, my second word is unskilled. Yeah. And I think this team doesn't look skilled. Like, I realized we were playing another low ranking team this week, and both teams looked pretty bad the majority of this game, but like, we looked just pathetic as someone that, just watches this, and it just looked like we don't know what we're doing. And I think that feeds back into that loop of we're an entertaining team. And when we don't look like we can do it on a regular basis, it almost seems like we're just getting lucky now. Hartle gets the ball, and maybe he'll score, maybe he won't, but it doesn't look like a lot of it's intentional. There were some glimmers out there. I will argue with myself and say, like, well, there were some really well-made plays. That one where Betcher boofed it on the side, that comes to mind pretty clearly out there. But, like, it just doesn't look like overall we are a very skilled team, and that is coaching and management. That's my second word, unskilled.
I think it's a good word. I like to use XG compared to actual goals scored, right? So XG means that on average, you should score that many times. So far this season, out of 10 games, we have an XG of 14.0, meaning that we should have scored 14 goals. We have 9, which is less than 1 a game, which means that even though an average team would have scored 14 goals, we've only scored 9. What does that tell you? That tells you that the finishing isn't there. Also, it's also about the setup too, because let's be honest, right? Like the Hartle pass that was not good to Betcher, right? Like, had that been a nice smooth pass, which XG does not factor in, it would have been a much easier goal. So sometimes the assist, the setup plays a part of that too. But the point still stands that I agree 100% with you. There's a lot of skill issues on the team.
Right. And we talk about management and ownership spending money on players, but what if they're also cheaping out on the training staff and the coaching staff? What if we could be spending a lot more money on that side of it to train up these players that are still professional players? Like, what if they're also not trying on that side of the pitch?
And that's something that's really hard for us to see, because we don't get to see that side of thing. Like, we don't see how well the assistant coaches are. Basically, the best that you can do is you can kind of get a little bit of word from some of these people on social media that are kind of a little bit more in the know, but who knows, it's just something we don't know. I think my final word is risk. And this is what I mean. And I'm not talking about the team per se. I'm talking about the fans. The team is at risk for losing a major fan base. Did you see the email this week where they were giving out free tickets for new fans?
Yep, I did.
Now,
Please
tell me, in the first year, do you think they would have ever done that email?
God. No. And not even like the second year where we're riding off the high. No. Tickets are $200 a piece at that time. And there's no way. And even if the team was struggling, even second half of last year, we still never saw that. Because then we've been talking about this. That's that apathy kicking in where you have to start begging fans to come, because that excitement's going to have to evaporate soon enough. Gas is $5 a gallon. Everything's more expensive, and you want fans to come out and spend $100 ticket plus concessions to see this performance?
Plus parking.
Yeah, plus parking. Like, you're going to have to, at some point, they're going to have to do what every team where Messi was coming. It was like, it was never, hey, come see our team. It's come see this other team. Like, they're going to have to market LAFC coming in to come see Bowanga instead of come see our team.
Yeah, see, here's a problem too, is another thing that we don't think about a lot is money, right? So the thing is if the fans don't come, if they're not buying jerseys, if they're not buying whatever, right? I know he's
Yeah.
laughing and he'll tell you why in a second. But the thing is if you have that lack of income, then you have less to spend on potential players, right? Like if you're a very healthy team with a lot of money coming in, you can afford a fancy new player, that might cost 5 million a year, right? I think he's like 1.5 million, Berkey's 1.3, or it was vice versa. What we really need is we need a $3 million striker, $4
Yeah.
million, something like that. But how are they going to pay for it? The city is already operating at a minus $4 million deficit right now. Now, obviously, the MLS is one league, right? And there's all profit sharing. But as far as an individual club, though, they're minus 4 million. So is that part of it too?
What AJ was commenting on is I am an incredibly cheap person, and this is a nice Chinese knockoff. You can see the stars don't line up because I'm not spending $100 even on a replica jersey or $170 on a authentic jersey. I'm not doing that. And especially for a team who's not showing us that they care enough for their own team to put a lot of money back into it. Now, a lot of that $4 million could have been a lot of this property that they're buying up around the city. They're buying a lot of property around the city, and that could be some of their deficits they're coming into because they are expanding all around and they're doing our stuff. But yes, finances are what they are, but we're also not seeing it on the field. And I think that's some of that apathy that I discussed. A lot of fans want, this is the best fans in baseball kind of mentality where it's you have to support the team when they're good or they're bad, or they'll never be able to get better. And okay, with your money, because your money and your time, because that's another thing. Time is a commodity that people don't have a lot of, especially with the fact you said like people having to work multiple jobs now. And if I can either spend 3 hours traveling to watching a game and traveling home watching a game, or I can do that at home. I can do it in the comfort of my own home around my family. What am I going to choose? In 2023, I made the decision a couple times to drive out to the stadium. I spent $80 on the playoff ticket, and I got my towel right there, and because and I spent all night out there, and I was away from my family. The team lost. It was bad, but the whole excitement level on that season was amazing. If I were to tell my wife now, I'm going out, I'll be back around midnight because I'm going to go out and I'm going to do all this stuff, she'd lose her mind because I'm going to support this. I'm not doing that. And so that's the difference, and that leads me to my last word, which is luck. Teams have to build their own luck. Right now, the team is not very lucky. We're not seeing goals come in. We're not seeing the finishing that we need. We talked about the finishing, and it's because of that luck. We're seeing the teams we're playing against, they're building their own luck. They are rolling that over. We're not seeing that. We need to see some things happen. I think the team was hoping that Leuven would spark something with everyone today. Leuven would be that
I think
luck.
we all did. We all did.
I think that people thought that Leuven would be that luck. And, that's almost a little abusive to say like, this guy's coming back from his wife passing and he had this amazing kick that led to a goal in a non-league competition. And let's throw him out there. And he seemed fine, but didn't really have an impact today. But we need to find, I think if that would have hit, I think, I'm not going to begrudge the team on this now that I think about it, because that's how you build luck. You take chances and you put them out there. And if that would have hit and we would have scored and then build that up on that, then I would have egg on my face because that would have been amazing. But the team has to find their own luck.
Well, it sucks because I really think they had a lot of chances. They didn't convert. Like you have the Hartel to Betcher pass. I mean, realistically, teams put that away the majority of the time. I'm sorry, that was like a wide open shot. That's something that's literally going to haunt them on the plane ride back. We could say that about several plays. Yeah. So speaking of the players, what's our next game, Steve?
All right. So this is what I love. AJ and I are of a certain age, and a lot of our listeners, viewers are also of a certain age, a little patina, if you will. I was trying to think of one way we can kind of relate to people and relate to this game. And one thing that I remembered was Grand Theft Auto, especially Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. When you were in trouble, when you could be running around, you could be doing things, and the cops would start coming after you. And there was a star system. And then you got 0 up to 5 stars based on how much trouble you're in. And I thought that would be an amazing way to bring that into this, because if you've ever played GTA, you kind of walk around, you can punch someone in the face and you might get a star there. But if you kind of chill out and don't do anything else, that star goes away. And you can do that up to like 3 stars. And once you get to 3 stars, they don't go away. The cops are on you, people can see you, and then things start coming. And I think we can relate to our players that way. So what we're going to do is we have 5 stars and we're going to discuss
6 stars, right?
Yeah, we got 6.
That's 6.
Yep. And we're going to discuss some players and some other things about where we think we're going to put them on our stars. So are they at 0 stars or are they all the way up to 6 stars? And we are not going to do that. We're not going to make that decision. We're going to let the wheel make our decision for us. So we have a series of names on here, and we're going to spin the wheel, and we're going to discuss, AJ and I, where this person belongs on the stars. All right. We're going to send it off, and looks like our first name is Cordova. So Cordova goes first. 0 to 6. Where do you think we put Cordova?
So 6 would be like, we want them to go to jail. Like they're just really not.
Yep. SWAT's coming at them. The helicopters are dropping out from helicopters. They're in the worst trouble you could be.
Okay. So I think based on this current team, right, I would probably put him, I'm debating between a 2 and a 3 star. Because I think he'd be serviceable for a backup if we had a good striker, right? But he's not great.
He's not great, but it's a short-term loan. We're also looking to get rid of him. We only signed him through June. Anyways. So like 3? Yeah, because
I'm thinking 3.
I think we could say that simply because of the fact that he's supposed to be a striker and he's supposed to be that kind of fill in the blank that we need for now. And he's not doing it overall. And he had that goal against San Jose, I think. Did he have a goal against San Jose?
Yeah.
One
of those games.
Yeah. And that's all he's done. So, okay. So Cordova will be on our 3rd star. So let me just see if I can reference what that means in the game. So for 3rd stars, you've got air support deployed. It says you've harmed multiple officers, you've gotten the fireflies, and there's explosions. And probably they're not getting rid of you. So, all right. So let's look at our next name. Let me move. All right. Now, the next name is...
Please.
Oh, your favorite.
Diego. Okay. No, do you want to go first or should I?
I think we have to put this cat because there's limited spots. We got to put him at a 5 or a 6, only because I think it's easy to say he's got to be up there, because if he didn't have his ego, we would still have Klaus in his team. And give or take, yeah, Klaus wasn't great, but at least he was a striker. You want to put him at 6?
He has to.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's not just all him, but the fact is there's some people arguing on Reddit about, well, Diego's just the business person. He doesn't do anything with roster. BS. It was very explicit during the time of Berkey being re-signed that he was heavily involved.
Yes.
You can't tell me that
he was the only person involved.
Yeah, exactly. You can't tell me that the president of the soccer operations is not involved when there's big paychecks. He's getting his opinion. I guarantee you. We're not going to sign the summer window person without him signing off, especially if there's like 2 or more people that we potentially could get. He's 100% going to be involved. And it's not a coincidence that we started going downhill once he joined.
And when the decision was made to fire Olaf, Lutz was not on that stage, or not at that table alone. He should have been alone. He is the man on the sporting side who made a decision to fire the coach that he brought in. He was sitting right next to him. Diego was right there, front and center, answering questions. Yeah, he is 100% at fault for a lot of what we're seeing. So I agree with you. Let's put Diego in the absolute worst spot you can be in on our little thing. All right. So next name.
Next
on our little rolling here is, okay, I like this one. Where do you put our goalkeeper? Where do you put Berkey?
Ooh, man, this is going to be
when I initially did this, I was going to put Berkey at a 2 because we saw the chart that came out that showed his save percentage and shows where his ranking is essentially with the other MLS keepers. And for someone who won Goalkeeper of the Year award in 23, he's way down. Now, he was standing on his head today. He made some amazing saves. And I joked with you that he clearly must have seen that chart and he wanted to kind of redeem himself. But for me, yeah, he's not the same. He's not the same. What about you? Where do you think he should be?
Yeah, so just for people, if you haven't seen it, Chat City or City Chat Tactics or whatever it is on social media had put a little chart together, and Berkey was basically 39th percentile in the MLS, meaning he was basically borderline into the bottom third. So just outside of the bottom third, but just a little bit above it. That's not great. And especially when he's signed as your DP. I mean, I'm not expecting him to be number one in the league, but for a DP goalkeeper, I do expect him to be in the top 5.
Yes. Yeah.
Maybe top 6. And I'd be okay with that. Top 6 that's fine. Okay. I would have to say, because I think there's bigger holes in this team, I'm leaning more towards like a 1-star, like kind of like, okay, maybe this just isn't working, but he's got the history. I mean, he has kept this team in many games, and even like this game, he's kept it in. But a lot of fans, we always look at the last game, right? And we get excited and we make judgments and we forget about every other game. Just kind of like with the Open Cup, right? Like I thought we were going to win 3-1. I ignored every other game except for the Open Cup game.
Yeah. Well, so you can say like on GTA, when you get 1 star, it's because you've caused some fisticuffs. You've made some errors. But if you chill out, if you do what you're supposed to, those go away. And so there's not a lot of heat on you and the cops really aren't concerned about you. So I would agree. I mean, he is still our number one guy. So like, yeah, I would say for sure that he's a 1 star. All right. So when we're doing this, you see, guys, I put a lot of these names on there. Some of these players just won't be chosen today. So it's random. It's the wheel of doom. All right. So who's next? Let's see. Tomas Totland. So
Ooh.
I'll let you go first on Tomas. Where should we put Tomas?
So here's the thing. Totland has had a lot of, he's had some good games. He's had some mediocre games. In the past, he's had same thing, good games and mediocre. I would say that he would be rostered pretty much on every MLS roster. I'm not necessarily saying as a starter per se, because I think there's definitely better out there, but I think he does start for a good number of them. Maybe even, 60, 70% of them, I would have to argue. Now, I know a lot of people are going to be up in arms and say, hey, AJ, you're an idiot, but hey, whatever. Steve does that anyway, so what's the difference?
Right.
He might as well join in. So I'm going to say 0.
What?
I'm going to say 0.
A 0
start.
Yeah. Yeah, his rating on FOTMob for the season is 6.77. So like way better than the mean. Yeah. So like if there is another name on this list, like a Hartle that comes up, then we would have to put Hartle at like a 2 or a 4 though. So would
I'll
you
take
say
the chance that Hartle doesn't come up?
All right.
I'll take the chance.
So if Hartle comes up, then he's a dummy. All right. So yeah, I agree. I wouldn't say that Totland has been an issue at all overall. Yeah. All right. So let's
go and draw our next 2 names. Our next 2 names.
All right. Let's see. We've got
Betcher. Okay. What's the next one?
Got Simon and oh boy. Okay. We have 2 non-players tonight.
Ooh, DeMay.
So we have Betcher and DeMay. So, okay. I would say, you know what? As a teacher, I always believe the buck stops with me. I can do all the complaining I want. The administration, which I'm also not giving us what I need. It's not blah, blah, blah. The students are bad. My staff is bad. The parents are bad. At the end of the day, if my class is a mess, it's because of me. No one else. If, as an administrator, if my teachers aren't doing right, it's because of me. So I would put DeMay as a 5-star because this is his team. And I would put Betcher as a 4. So between 4 and 5 is where I would put both of those guys. What about you?
Man, this is tough because I feel like was DeMay put in a situation that he could win. But at the same time, we've seen in countless sports, right, where you have a horrible team and then magically a coach comes in. They usually take about a year to kind of get going with some subtle changes, and then the second year they do well, right?
Yeah.
So I don't want to see another Olaf. Like Olaf players gave up on him. I'm going to have to say, what is it between a 2 and a 5-star? So I'd have to say 2 would have to be DeMay and Betcher would have to be a 5.
Okay. So Betcher is more kind of hot, more in trouble than DeMay is to you.
I would have, yeah.
All right. So what I'm going to do,
this is all coaching.
is I'm going to put DeMay / Betcher on 2 and 5 because I think you are a crazy person because we are just writing him off. All right. So we've got DeMay and Betcher at 2 and 5. All right. We got one more name to roll the bowl here. All right. Let's see. I knew it was going to happen. You asked for it.
Stupid game.
All right. So here's the thing though. How about I can't possibly put Marcel Hartle as a 4-star. I can't. So
I know what we do.
Let's move some around. What's that?
Put him as -1.
A -1.
Yeah.
He's our perfect boy.
Uh-huh.
All right, fine. So Hartle is a -1. Hartle's the player. All right.
We'll put Steve at 4 stars.
Damn it. Or DeMay it. Here's perfect then. Chris Ray. He's a 4. Because he's building this team. You can say that Lutz was really the construction of this team, that he did this, that the apologetics are going to be doing it. They're going to say Ray is just doing the best he can. What is he supposed to do within a year, turn around? Great managers and great coaches can turn things around. We're not seeing that. We saw a lot of cheap defensive players signed. Let's not forget this, guys. We saw a lot of cheap defensive players signed in the winter whenever Ray got here. No big splashes were made. A splash could have been made. They could have spent some huge money, but they didn't. And it's probably because they've written off this season and the sprint season.
That's what it feels like.
Yeah, it kind of does, doesn't it? Yeah. And they're hoping that the fans hold on. I'm actually seeing people say if we don't see a big signing at the summer window, they're done. Whatever that means. Whatever that means, a lot of fans are giving this guy until the summer window. But you're saying that you've seen comments that it's going to be 2 full cycles, 2 full transfer cycles for any changes to be made, which is just ludicrous. It's just ludicrous. Again, you're asking fans to spend hundreds, if not thousands of dollars to come support your team, and you're telling us, nah, this is not going to be good. But here, buy a $9 taco, please. Buy a $12 burrito.
I think it was Ray. I think this was like 3 or 4 games ago. I don't know how the comment came up, but I just seen it after the fact. He had mentioned that it might take, quote unquote, multiple windows. So, AKA, what I hope this doesn't mean is that, if they don't have a striker or they don't have somebody that helps bolster this team, that they're just simply going to wait until next summer window. Like, that's what I hope it's not going to be. Like, this is something that should be like, they need to make the big splash. They have to, for the fans' sake. Remember our third word, risk? They have to do something. Now, I could see, fine, right? Maybe it takes your team from being a wooden spoon contender to basically a playoff-bound team, 9th place. I'm okay with that, honestly. That's a huge advancement. I would be 100% okay with that. And then the following windows, hopefully that brings you up to, a top 5 team in your division or conference. I would be totally okay with that, right? But what I hope they're not saying is, hey, give us a couple transfer windows before you give up on us. If we're a wooden spoon contender for the sprint season, you're not going to have fans. It's going to be a ghost town.
And it should be. Guys, it should be. We don't have to keep doing this. Like, it's hitting yourself in the head with a hammer and wondering why it hurts. Like, it's just...
Remember the safe word, Winnie the Pooh?
Hurt me, Daddy, hurt me. I don't have pants on.
Do you want to do a couple goal or no goals before we peace out of here?
Yeah. Okay, so here's our next, up until our next Open Cup match, we play Colorado. We play LAFC on the road. We play Colorado at home. We play LAFC in LA. And then we play DC United on the road. I don't Where are the wins?
And then Austin at home, right, is the last one in May.
I think so. DC United
Good luck.
is fifth in the East. LAFC is third in the West, and Colorado is ninth in the West. If we win next week, we can jump as high as
We can.
10th or 11th.
We can?
Oh, no, never mind. No.
We got 6
we
points.
can't go any higher than... Again. Ugh. Okay, you guys need to realize this. Because of the fact that we refuse to score, because we refuse to win and get points, if we win next week, we cannot get higher than 14th. We're stuck in 14th because the third...
Right, because that's 10.
Yeah, we can't jump. We can't jump. All we can do is stay where we are or drop down to 15th because apparently Sporting, like I posted on Discord, Sporting is doing God's work, keeping us out of the basement. Like, they're the only reason we're not in the basement. And honestly, we're 1 point from the spoon. At any point, we are a spoon contending team for the second year in a row. All right. Okay, I've got our first goal or no goal. So
Did it.
From the Reddits, John Delvec actually says something that I made a comment on. He says, when the summer window ends and we have no new DP strikers, I will stop watching. Goal or no goal. You'll stop watching.
I probably won't.
Spiritually.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to say goal, and I think most fans or a lot of fans would, they have to.
Yep. Nick LaPierre says, I'm boycotting games from the same comment thread. I'm boycotting games and merch and canceling Apple if they have the balls to cheap out on it. I haven't been to a game yet this season, and I really want to go to a game. And I'll probably go because tickets will be cheap. Because that's when I jump in. So
you're a cheapster.
I'm a bottom feeder, and I'm fine with that. I've paid market value for games before when I feel like it's a good use of my money. But if I don't feel like I'm going to get a good value out of my money, I'm not spending it. Now, $17 to go watch a professional sporting event, that's a value for my money. I'm going to get something out of it. $50, absolutely not. I am not spending that kind of money. But yeah, so, hyperbole, we'll see if the fans do stop. So far, our fan base has not shown that they will be willing to boycott in any real fashion. We'll see. What about you?
Basically, what you said, honestly, I think we've kind of said it to this point. It's said it multiple times. So on Reddit, Mundane Inside 9508 said, Betcher is crap, but if their roles were reversed and Betcher made the pass to Hartle and Hartle hits it into the side netting, all of you will be complaining about how much of a crap pass that was from Betcher, just saying. So he's talking about that one that was that super easy shot, or pass, I should say, and what should have been an easy shot by Betcher. Do you think that's goal or no goal?
I mean, we talked about, it was not a good pass. So, but I don't think that Betcher would be, or Hartle will be getting enough heat, the same amount of heat because of what he's done this year versus what Betcher has done this year.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm going to say no goal on that because one guy has actually performed his value and the other guy has not.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm going to say no goal. And the thing is I do admit, because we talked about this, right? Like the XG is talking about the average setup, the average shot, everything, right? That was a very poor setup by Hartle. That was a very difficult shot. But when you're a striker and you're competing to be the first string, the starting striker, you got to put some of those away. You have to just find a way, at least make it competitive. Okay, if he hit it right to the goalkeeper, so be it. At least it was on frame.
Yeah.
Right? But when you hit it far off to the left, guess what? You're never going to score it.
Yeah. Oh my God. And we have to do that. Okay. Radar 91 says, can the supporters do some Fire Diego chants? It's beyond time. So, goal or no goal, the supporter section says start some anti-Diego chants.
Well, do something, because honestly, they're going to have to change something in the organization. It's not working. I mean, unfortunately, I hate to say this, Diego probably has a summer window with Ray, and Ray won't get fired because he hasn't had the chance.
Right.
And maybe Ray doesn't get fired unless everybody else gets fired. Like, maybe this won't be until after the sprint season if it's just in such poor shape.
Yeah.
Maybe that's when maybe just completely clean house.
I saw that apparently Diego is on LinkedIn recently bragging about the club's valuation. So this is where his head is. His head is, this is how much money the club is worth. That St. Louis City is among the 50 most valuable clubs in the world. It's one of 18 MLS teams. So we're worried about the fact that the club is worth a lot of money as opposed to actually performing on the field.
So counterpoint,
again, capitalist.
I'm okay with that, right? Like if he was a pure business position, I'm okay with that because that's part of his job, right? Is to get value for ownership. And I'm okay with that. But the problem is he's been part of some discussions. He still is involved with the players. As much as fans are saying, no, he's not. He is, because we physically have seen it.
Yep.
That's the thing.
He was bragging that after they fired Olaf, that he was directly involved with, during the season, Berkey's re-signing. He was bragging how he was directly involved with that. Like, why? Why is a business nerd talking about the sporting side? Like, go pound some numbers, you dork. Stay off the field. But he's getting into a different lane. And this is why he's up for scrutiny now. Yeah, it's great. Talk about how valuable the team is until you've screwed with the on-field performance.
Bingo.
I saw a comment on Reddit that said, as a non-season ticket holder, they're excited about season prices falling faster than the club's chance of making the playoffs. So, goal or no goal, you're excited about cheaper tickets.
Well, unfortunately, we signed up for season tickets starting with the sprint season.
However, it's going to be rad. It's going to be rad. Like, yeah, there's people like me that are just cheap and they're just waiting. Like, I never thought, actually I did. I thought right around the fourth season, some of the excitement of the team would die off, even if the team was performing really well, that some tickets would be going down. But really, the tickets are maintaining around that $40 per game average for supporter section. Sometimes they dip down. In the old off season, they were down to like $17, $20, and I think we're going to hit there again. Guys, we're going to make it. We're going to make it, guys.
Probably.
Oh, man. See, this is not exciting stuff to talk about. It'd be great to talk about, hey, look, we're in third place or fifth place. Man, why can't we make it in the top 5? But no, we're fighting for last place.
We got spoiled.
2023 was a magical time for this team.
Back in the day,
back when we were kids.
Well, I don't have any other goal and no goals. What about you?
Nope. Yeah, I don't. I can't. Yeah, I don't. Yep. I'm glad this game was a 4:30 start. That was pretty cool. How about that?
Okay, I'll give that a goal. That was kind of nice. It gave us plenty of time to record, and it's only 8:30.
Yeah, that's not like, I don't know we've had this time slot that many times in the last 4 years. I don't think we have, and it's pretty cool to be able to do this. You know what? What if we were in Miami's shoes? So think about, like, Miami won the cup last year. They did the thing. They won the cup. They brought in all the money. They won the cup. And, like, they're very much underperforming this season. Would you rather be in our position to see exactly where Galaxy was last year, where we had just got off the high, and now we're falling? Or would you rather be where we are now?
Would I rather be in Miami's shoes or ours? Because I think Miami's in third in the East. Yeah, I think I'll go with that.
Yeah, but they're, like, again, really for where they're expected to be. Like, they've already gotten rid of a coach, and they're probably going to get rid of another head coach. They are in third right now. They have 19 points. We have 9. Or we have 9? Yeah. No, we have 6.
Yeah, we got 6.
We could have had 9. We could have had 9 today, but we
should have had 9.
All right, that's all I got. Hey, need to go get ready for work.
Yay.
Okay. All right, so guys, this has been a rough game. You gotta be tough. You gotta be men. You gotta be tough men. And we gotta go, oh, we're shitty, baby.